Welcome to the LA County Math Field Day Score Training video. I'm your host and coordinator of this event, Anthony Kwan. Thank you for serving in this position, as we would not be able to execute this student event without your assistance. We rely on your volunteerism in making this a special opportunity for your students. Let's begin. In this score training video, we will cover the following: a review of the LA County Math Field Day event, the general duties and qualifications of a scoring judge, what happens when you arrive at Math Field Day, what happens during round 1, what happens during round 2 and 3, and then some final notes. Let's begin. Math Field Day is generally the culminating academic activity of the year. 8 grade levels from grades 4 through 11, 3 rounds of competition, conceptual understanding, problem solving, computation and procedural skills. 30-minute rounds, teams of 4 students who are utilizing their skills of standards for math practices, as well as the standards for content, and also practicing the 4 C's of collaboration, communication, creativity, and critical thinking. Let me reiterate, the years of success with this event is due to your commitment to serve as a volunteer, and more importantly, as a scoring judge. Here's the general schedule. You are essentially with your scoring team from about 8 a.m. until the conclusion of round 3, or possibly the STEM festival. Each grade level team that registers must provide a volunteer for one of 3 roles: proctor, scoring, and general volunteer. The registration form asks for the preferences, and we try to meet those as best we can. Those who did not indicate a preference are placed into a role depending on their qualifications. In the event that we have an overabundance within a role, we have no choice but to assign a role. So again, thank you for serving. Your responsibility as a scoring judge is essentially to score the tasks that students are working on to determine our medal placements, gold, silver, bronze, and our overall team winners for each grade level in the form of the final trophy. To serve or be assigned to this role, the individual must be a fully credentialed instructor, either with an elementary or a secondary credential. Credentialed teachers are qualified because you have to work with the standards and are therefore familiar with them. Additionally, you are familiar with the 2 components of the current standards: standards for content and standards for mathematical practices. More importantly, you have the unique perspective due to your credential training and current classroom practices to understand how students may interpret and work through the tasks. That is, you have an understanding of why a student may have answered a certain way, or understand how their core teacher may have provided the pedagogical delivery for content acquisition. When you arrive to the event, be sure you check in with your district coordinator. If you do not know who this is, please contact me or find out right away. The district coordinator is the only person who should be checking in for all grade level teams for your district, charter, or private school. The district coordinator will then distribute the coaches packet, in which case you will want to look for the campus map for location of all rooms, the list of volunteers, and finally the schedule. If you are not the coach, be sure to check in with the coach for your room assignment. Then assist with escorting students to the General Assembly between 7:45 a.m. and 8 a.m. Once you drop off students, immediately head to the scoring room for your duties. Please arrive by 8 a.m. Once you arrive at the scoring room, check in with the scoring room lead. This may be a LACO staff member or a LACO partner. The scoring room lead are often the task writers. You will then be told which scoring team to sit with, at which point, please introduce yourselves to each other. You will also want to have a quick discussion to decide who the lead scoring judge will be. Though we may have identified them, it's still good to have that conversation. And remember, you're going to be in this room for a few hours. At the start of round 1, your job is to work through the same tasks that students are working on. The major difference is that you will be working on round 1 tasks and round 2 tasks. individually. Please be aware that one of these tasks will involve the use of manipulatives. Therefore, you will need to work with them in order to understand and determine your answers. You will work on one task at a time, though this will be determined by the scoring room lead and/or the scoring team. Once all of you are done with the task, the lead scoring judge will facilitate the conversation of the solutions that you all came up with. This is for the purpose of calibrating your responses, your thinking, as well as your expectations of what students will bring to the table. It will be at this point that you will receive the scoring rubric to help your team refine your thinking and approach to scoring the tasks. You will then work on task 2 and begin the process again. The sooner you are able to start calibrating, the better you will be prepared, as tasks will begin to come immediately at the end of round 1. It is critical that your scoring team are calibrated in thinking at the conclusion of round 1. So use your time wisely by asking clarifying questions of the task writers as necessary. The scoring rubrics are a guide and a tool to help you with the refinement of your calibrated thinking. It is not the Bible or the final say. Again, it is this group who is going to decide our medal and trophy winners. Without you, we cannot have an award ceremony at the end of the day. By the way, this is an excellent opportunity for you to also understand how the state expects students to be working on math tasks. Round 2 and 3 is really all about the scoring. In round 2, you'll be scoring round 1 tasks. In round 3, you're expected to be working on scoring round 2 tasks. The general directions for scoring is as follows. There should be 2 scoring volunteers who will work on the same paper that's been submitted. Upon completion, you'll initial the completed document. There is no fractional scoring here. It's only all whole points. If there's a discrepancy in scoring, the scoring lead in your group will make the final decision. Upon completion of that scoring of the task, the lead scoring judge will submit the task to the scoring room lead. These will be the scores entered to determine our winners. Here's some general notes. Each task should be scored by 2 people. So you want to avoid scanning your team's tasks. We do not want to disqualify any team if you are scoring your own school, your own district's teams. In the event of a tie, the lead scoring judge in your group will break the tie. The tasks are progressive in nature. That is, if students are not able to answer the first part, students should not be able to answer the second part. If students cannot solve the second part, students would not be able to solve the third part, and so on. As said earlier, the tasks are written in a progressive nature. Ideally, part 1 is worth 1 point, part 2, 2 points, 3, 3 points, 4, 4 points, to total it up to 10 points. This may not always be the case, so check with the task writers for clarifications or other issues that may have come up. Round 1 is generally a scoring team's time to acclimate to the task, as well as calibrate thinking for and scoring both task 1 and task 2. Again, during round 2 and round 3, this is where the real scoring takes place. So please be patient with each other, use the task writers, and don't be afraid to ask questions. As a scoring team, remember that you are making the final call. LACO or me will not intervene as much as possible. When it comes to the final decision, you are making that final decision. Should there be any issues, you and your team will determine how you want to approach the solution. This may involve the writing team as well. So once a decision has been made, inform me so that I'm aware of what the issue was, what were the possible solutions, and again, what the final decision of the scoring team is. Upon completion of your task assignments, please help with cleanup. Once you have been given the permission to leave, please join your students at the STEM Festival to assist with supervision, and then help escort all your students back to General Assembly for the awards ceremony. Please reach out if you have any questions, and thank you. This concludes the scoring training video for the Allen County Math Field Day competition.